are the gentleman that is accused of shooting the late comedian Reggie Carroll?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have on an ankle monitor right now?
Yes, ma'am.
You said you pay $350 a month for that ankle monitor.
Yes, ma'am.
No indictment has been made against you yet.
No, ma'am.
The shooting happened over 8-9 months ago.
He snorted the lines in front of me, and he was up for 3 days without going to sleep leading up to this event. Your brain is the best weapon that you're gonna have. So my brain was telling me to run away from him all those previous times. And y'all still questioning who the bad guy is?
How did you manage with him having a gun to you to get to the gun that you said was by the fireplace?
I didn't have to travel to it. It was already right next to me. I was approximately the exact distance you are right now if you needed to grab something that was leaning up against your broom. You see how long my arms is? Check this out. You notice it went past this?
Yeah.
He pointed the gun in my face.
So when you grabbed the gun, he didn't pull the trigger?
Only Katt Williams has this exalted power to say, you know, he doesn't have to follow any parameters or any rules because he's a millionaire. He's exempt from logic and common sense. Well, he had logic and common sense to put Reggie at the house where he was at.
They're saying that Katt ordered you to shoot him. This was intentional. Y'all set this up. They're saying that he was actually shot on Katt's main property and moved to this particular address when it went down, okay? And his body was left there for multiple days, found unresponsive, and nobody is saying anything.
This case with Reggie Carroll, with the murder, when Reggie was shot with the shot.
Is it a murder?
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the M-Rec and Rip Show. Rec, what's going on, King?
Salute, Rip. Everything good. How you?
Listen, man, bless, you know, it's getting hot outside. We almost, you know, reaching into the season of summer, the summertime, you know what I mean? People ready to get outside. But listen, man, we here to provide y'all with a Reggie Carroll update, y'all. I know it's been a couple of months since we actually sat down and talked about the last update in which Trinell, right, the alleged shooter, accused that, you know, he was claiming self-defense. You know, that's his reason for all of this. Last time we spoke, he was speaking with local media. You know, if you go back to our previous videos, we did a lot of coverage on the actual police report that was shown.
Correct.
In the interview he did with local media, right, down in Memphis. But the update, y'all, for those who may not know, is that Trinell, the shooter, has officially been indicted. Okay? So again, he had been sitting home, right, at the crib on the box for a couple of months now. We really hadn't heard anybody cover this story since then. Have you heard anything, Rec, you know, since we did our coverage with it?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, initially covered the story. You know, of course, Katt Williams being involved, a lot of people in the comment section, you know, they like to play dumb. You know, what does Katt have to do with this? Well, for the record, these were employees that worked for Katt Williams. One was a bodyguard. One of them was a comedian who toured with Katt, well-known friend for over a decade plus.
Facts.
Someone that we work with, Reggie Carroll, for those who may not know, did a project with Knockout Kings of Comedy. Reggie Carroll alongside Scruncho and several other talented comedians. So again, you know, Facts. This is why we've been covering it. The story, but it's official. According to this article, Trinell Williams, long-term security guard for Katt Williams, was indicted by a grand jury Thursday for first-degree murder, months after his roommate was shot to death in their South Haven, Mississippi home, said DeSoto County District Attorney Matthew Barton. Okay? First-degree murder. Right? Police said Reggie Carroll was shot multiple times on August of 2025 with a 12-gauge shotgun during a roommate dispute. All right. Now, again, this is the article. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description. According to this article, they're saying WREG in a phone interview spoke with Trinell themselves, okay? According to this article, they said Trinell told WREG that Carroll had pulled a gun on him a number of times during the 3 months they lived together. He said Carroll threatened him that night with a weapon and he shot him in self-defense. So that was the quote. And he continued on saying, so I get paid from Katt with direct deposit. I'm a real employee. And then the guy who was pulling the gun on me was a comedian who was also on tour with Katt Williams, but he got kicked out of Katt Williams' mansion, and that's why Katt sent them to the house to stay with me, said Trinell. Now, again, for those who, initially were like, what does Katt have to do with this? This is someone who was employed by Katt.
Yep.
In a sit-down interview with the local news down in Memphis. In his interview, letting it be known for the record, he works as an employee for Katt, and Reggie was a comedian working for Katt. Just for the record, y'all. But the article continues on to say that Trinell said... just receipts, exactly. Trinell said the house where this incident happened was leased by a company owned by Katt Williams. So again, this is why Katt Williams' name has been brought up, y'all. For those who are already hip, we understand. Bear with us. You know what I'm saying? But for those who want to play dumb because they are worshiping a celebrity and get upset in the comments and not understanding that someone's life was lost, someone's son, brother, father. This goes deeper than, a celebrity at this point. Someone lost their life. Accountability has to be, made.
Correct.
But this guy, who's been at home on house arrest for several months, is now doing interviews with local media. We're going to talk about the interview that he put out last night with Tasha K. We're going to show y'all little clips that Tasha put out. Of course, she put out the full interview with Trinell on her website. So, of course, we can't show y'all that. However, on her live last night, he called in on Tasha K's show. So we'll show y'all a little bit of that as well. But let's finish up this article that I'll make sure to leave the link in the description. And the article continued on to say that Trinell said he was able to record some of the violent interactions with Carroll and had been preparing himself for a possible indictment. In one video, you can see Carroll display a gun. Now, again, these videos we've covered, we'll make sure to have the links to our previous, episodes from the show that we did where we covered this stuff. So this isn't breaking news. But again, according to this article, Trinell says, I've been saying, if they're going to do an indictment, then I'm ready to go to trial because I know for a fact that this was 100% self-defense. I ran 10 times, said Trinell. The guy was doing crystal meth and doing Molly pills right in front of me. So if I did get an indictment, that's the only way we would have the subpoena power to obtain a toxicology report. This is all from this article, y'all.
Wow.
Carroll, a father and a veteran, had appeared on the Katt Williams Heaven on Earth tour last year, according to his social media. Trinell said Maryland court records show Carroll was a convicted felon who should have not been possessing a firearm. Trinell has a concealed weapons permit in Mississippi. Trinell Williams was released from jail on a $500,000 bond and fitted with the ankle monitor. All right. Now, that was the end of this article. All right. What are your thoughts on this, King?
I mean, the fact that, he was out on bail and he was still trying to be in the media with this ongoing investigation. And then as of Thursday, he gets indicted, I guess, after doing these interviews. It's surreal. Now, for the record,
the interview came out yesterday. This article was made Thursday. So they're saying the indictment came Thursday. Now, for the record, Tasha K put out a snippet of this interview last week. So based on the snippet that we're going to show y'all, I think that's what they used. Because again, putting a trailer together, Tasha K, to get you guys to want to watch the interview. So that's why I said today we're going to show y'all the clip that she put out on her IG. She made sure to tag Trinell. And we didn't even tell y'all. Homie made a diss record and everything. We just been kind of sitting back, watching how everything played out. And we noticed a lot of the outlets who covered Reggie's passing, his death, everyone kind of, turned their back on it now. Initially Katt was cleared from any wrongdoing, even though the investigation is still going on. A lot of people had questions about that. How could you clear Katt? You know what I mean? If the investigation is still going. But according to, law enforcement, those involved of this case, they're saying that he was cleared of any wrongdoing. So he had nothing to do with this situation. This was strictly an ongoing dispute between Trinell and Reggie. So, I just had to say that to be clear. You know what I mean? We, on the outside, working with Reggie, working with him on up until he got the call to be on tour with Katt. We are now just supporting Reggie from afar, like, yo, we see you, King. Get your bag. I see you. He came to Baltimore with Katt, put on in front of his hometown, So we were just merely his support system from afar. He would communicate with us here and there just to let us know how everything was going. But at that point, we wasn't really in communication with Reggie like that. So, he's up there with Katt. Anyone else in their logic is thinking he good. He put up. He's stacking checks. What we got to worry about? You know what I mean? So it's certain things that me and MREC, we are not privy to because we were not there. You know what I mean? We're only going off of the information that was given to us. And even back then, certain things weren't right and exact,
Facts.
But it's only but so much speculation you can do. You know what I mean? You can't go crazy. We knew him, whereas others outside may have never known about Reggie. Some may have not even knew he was associated with Katt Williams up until, his passing, his murder. And this is partly the reason why we're here to give y'all an update, because it seems as if for the past several months, no one has spoke up on Reggie's behalf.
Crazy.
It was a lot of it initially in the beginning, but as the time went on, we are almost a year. Think about it. This is May. We almost at June. But now that the man is gone, they're putting all types of smut on his name. He was using drugs. He was this. I mean, come on, yo. At some point, even the ones who work with them, don't you feel obligated to step in and be like, yo, come on, yo, let's not disrespect this man in his death. That's not right. That's not honorable. Whether you was there or responsible or not, somebody got to intervene and say, yo, this shit got to stop. That man is gone. He can't speak for himself. He can't defend himself. And now when the police show up and he gone, they got to take his word for it because he the only one else that was his word versus Reggie.
Facts. And he got to sell it in such a way that he can get off with this, or get the least possible conviction.
Come on.
Or charge, rather.
Right. He's claiming in his way, this is his way of self-defense. Even though this is why that indictment came down and cracked him right in the shit, because whatever was said, it was good enough for them to be like, okay, we got him. You got to think of his mindset and where he's been in the last several months at home with an ankle monitor. He's seeing Katt outside now. Katt is making his rounds. He was just doing the roast with Kevin, so he's probably feeling like, I'm missing out on all of this money. And it started to get to him, but let's continue on. I know how y'all get, goddamn, all this yapping. Listen, y'all want to read this article, link will be in the description. But let's get to the Tasha K clip that was put out from the interview. She dropped this 6 days ago on our Instagram. So, we're going to play that real quick. Give me a second. See if I can get that up for y'all. I'm gonna play this clip for y'all so y'all can hear it. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like I said, I believe this is the clip that sparked the indictment.
Damn.
This snippet, this trailer that was released 6 days ago. Mind you, it's Saturday. The indictment came 2 days ago, Thursday. So I strongly believe that when they seen this clip come out, what this man said, and this clip alone made them be like, nah, we bringing him in. So let's play this clip right quick. Go ahead, rack, mute up. And let's hear what was said in this snippet, man.
Yes, sir.
Gentleman that is accused of shooting the late comedian Reggie Carroll.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have on an ankle monitor right now.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you pay $350 a month for that ankle monitor.
Yes, ma'am.
No indictment has been made against you yet.
No, ma'am.
The shooting happened over 8-9 months ago.
He snorted the lines in front of me, and he was up for 3 days without going to sleep leading up to this event. Your brain is the best weapon that you're gonna have. So my brain was telling me to run away from him all those previous times. And y'all still questioning who the bad guy is?
How did you manage with him having a gun to you to get to the gun that you said was by the fireplace?
I didn't have to travel to it. It was already right next to me. I was approximately the exact distance you are right now if you needed to grab something that was leaning up against here or boom. You see how long my arms is? Check this out. You notice it went past this?
Yeah.
He pointed the gun in my face.
So when you grabbed the gun, he didn't pull the trigger?
Only Katt Williams has this exalted power to say, you know, he doesn't have to follow any parameters or any rules because he's a millionaire. He's exempt from logic and common sense. Well, he had logic and common sense to put Reggie at the house where he was at.
They're saying that Katt ordered you to shoot him. This was intentional. Y'all set this up. They're saying that he was actually shot on Katt's main property and moved to this particular address when it went down, okay? And his body was left there for multiple days, found unresponsive, and nobody is saying anything.
This case with Reggie Carroll, with the murder, when Reggie was shot with the shot.
Is it a murder?
Okay.
Yeah.
What you think? You think this has something to do with that indictment?
Oh yeah, because in the beginning of the snippet trailer, she said it hasn't been no indictment yet. And he said correct. So yeah.
Look at the comments 6 days ago. Should he be doing interviews?
Mm-hmm.
Who's his lawyer? Because look, who was Reggie? Lord have mercy. He should be given a chance to speak out and tell his side. This dude is your favorite rapper with a silicone mask. Now this right here, I want y'all to see this, y'all. This is him. This is the guy, Trinell, his Instagram account. You know, the past couple days, Tasha, you know, been tagging him. He actually tagged him Rec.
I don't know why.
Referencing an interview that was done with Scram that we did a couple of months ago. Give me a second. I'm trying to see this one post she had put up. I guess she took it down. Okay, all right, here we go. Put this up for y'all. But yeah, he's referencing the interview that you did with Scrams a couple months ago, right?
Gotcha.
So that's why he brought you up. But this was made yesterday, earlier, Friday morning, because she made the announcement that the interview would be released on May 15th. As we all seen yesterday, everyone woke up reacting to the Drake album. So, you know, I was kind of sitting back like, all right, is she going to put this out? Because I'm going to be real. I'm thinking maybe, you know, somebody on Katt's team is like, yo, we do not need this publicity right now. Like, we just seen Katt at the roast with Kevin Hart. You know, you got to understand people that work for Katt and his image, they got to do everything they can to make it look a certain way. So this guy who's claiming self-defense, I mean, yo, the fact that he's saying things, you know what I mean? Come on, they always say what you say will be used against you.
Correct.
That's why they say plead the fifth. I mean, you're doing interviews with Tasha K, local news. I mean, come on. Now, she put this out yesterday.
But let's not forget, I want you to address this, but let me just speak on this. Let's not forget, he did drop a Katt Williams diss record.
Yeah, listen, like I brought that up earlier. Yes. You know what I mean? I don't want to give it too much light, but he went as far as to release a diss record mentioning Reggie and Katt as well. And this has been within the last month. I know y'all like, well, damn, why y'all? We've been trying to just wait until we got facts because, to be honest with you, who moves like this? When you're being accused of a murder, no one's thinking that he's going to want the attention and, you know, putting all the spotlight on him. You know, we could sit here and speculate his motives for why he did what he did, you know, this past couple of months and putting this attention and spotlight on himself, but in the end, it's irrelevant. You know, at the end of the day, they're doing an investigation, and I think that was the whole premise of them having him out, you know what I mean, on house arrest, because they knew eventually he would crack. Eventually, he would break. He would say something, because Katt and them is kind of like, you know, according to him, they got him sitting down. You know what I mean? I watched the interview last night. Like I said, I'll make sure to leave the link in the description if y'all want to see the full interview. But according to Trinell, you know, he said that Katt, after the situation with Reggie, just told him, look, you're not fired. This is what Trinell's saying. Katt told him, you're not fired. I love you, but you got to sit down for these next couple of months until everything blows over. This is what Trinell's understanding was after what happened with Reggie.
Wow.
So even in that logic, you know, according to Trinell, he wasn't being disciplined or, you know, fired or reprimanded, however you want to label it, you know, from the standpoint of an employee. Because we already know someone lose their life on a job, you know, friends or not, I still got to hold you accountable.
Fact.
That's a stain on your record. You was hired to protect the acts, not harm them or put them in harm's way. But, hey, at the end of the day, you know, like I said, don't want to speculate too much. We just want to hit y'all with the facts that's been presented. Because I get it. Yes. People have their own motive and agenda. Some of those accused us of feeling a certain way or painting a narrative of Reggie being a certain angel. It's like, come on, that's not that. You know, like I said, this is about, you know, right is right and wrong is wrong. And what was done to Reggie, and the fact that even when he was alive, they fronted on him. And now that he's gone, they act like the man didn't exist. You know what I mean? The peers that he worked with on this tour, no one has spoke about Reggie since his passing. They've made little, you know, remarks on social media posts, but Katt himself, no one's acknowledged the man. And to sit back, having known him for the little bit of time that we've known him, you know what I mean? Him being in my close circle, me personally, hearing some of the things that's being said about his credibility and who he was as a man, it's like, yo, at some point, somebody's got to be like, enough. You questioning the man's sexuality, saying he was on all of these drugs. I mean, what is all of this? You know, what is the reason for this? At the end of the day, Reggie's no longer with us, and his family deserves answers on what happened. That's it.
100%. And
for it to be this slam dunk self-defense, as we sit back and watch, it gets crazier and crazier. You know what I mean? Am I bugging, right?
Nah.
We sit here and watch everything undeveloped, like, hold up.
I mean, the fact that it took them this long.
I said undeveloped. I meant to say develop. My bad.
The fact that it took them this long to proceed with the indictment when he was already doing interviews when it first happened. I think like a couple of weeks after.
Right. Well, I don't say a couple of weeks, but because I want to say about 2 to 3 months. About 2-3 months.
Okay.
Once we seen in the system that he got bond and he was out, it was like we was kind of stunned, like, damn, like what do they got? But again, you know, they're taking the words of the man who was the only one there on the scene of the crime. He's alive. Reggie's not. You know what I mean? And even those details, according to the police report, you know, they were of the impression that Trinell got hit as well. So when it got there and Reggie was laying down on the ground, already appeared to be hit, and homie's in there, you know, as if he done moved the weapon that Reggie allegedly had pointed at him. You know, it's some janky shit going on with the scene, and they can't speak on it because they can only speak on what they seen when they first got there. You know what I mean? Based on that report that was called in to them. So, but this post right here was made yesterday morning before she put out the release of the interview, Tasha K. And in the post, she says, Katt Williams' former bodyguard, Trinell Williams, has just been formally indicted for the murder of comedian Reggie Carroll yesterday. So again, this was Thursday when it happened. This post she made yesterday morning, which is Friday morning. She says, this comes after 9 months of stalled activity in the investigation and just 1 day before our explosive interview with Trinell is set to drop. Despite the active case, Trinell says he wants us to move forward with releasing this interview tonight on Tasha K Live to tell his side and clear his name. I warned him about the interview. I warned him about what an interview like this could do to his defense. He insisted he wanted to tell his side. And she says, everything is alleged. Now, she tagged him, y'all, right here. And I'm sitting there bugging like, who does this? Like, he wants the attention. He wants the clout. She tagged him, his Instagram. And he's in the comment section leaving all types of comments. He says, ironically, after Katt is hit with the $5 million lawsuit, 10 days later, all of a sudden it's an indictment. Reggie's on camera calling me a snitch for recording him, pulling guns on me. He's on camera telling me to stay outside at a residence where my name was on the lease, but his wasn't.
Wow. But go back to that statement where he says, after the $5 million lawsuit.
Yes. And we're going to get into that. For those who may not know, he's now suing Katt Williams.
Wow.
So he's insinuating that Katt might have put the word out. Like, y'all go get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After you got hit with that lawsuit, now all of a sudden an indictment happens. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like what he's alluding to, right? But yes, according to Tasha K and Trinell, he's suing Katt, y'all. The man that's responsible for killing Reggie is now suing Katt Williams for unpaid wages and, you know, negligence, hostile work environment. I mean, like I said, just sitting back, you didn't want to rush to cover anything because it's like, who does this?
Correct.
So we sat back. But again, he's in the comment section. I guess she cleaned it up. But let's see if, but he was, she cleaned it up.
Yeah, because he was in there going crazy.
Yeah, he was in the comment section, y'all, and he actually tagged MREC. So this is why I was like, okay.
In this post, right?
Yep, in this post. Yep.
Oh, she
tagging you and several other platforms. You know what I mean?
All that up.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the screenshots though.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show, for whatever reason, homie was making a lot of noise, a lot of attention, and he wanted platforms to cover this, the lawsuit, this indictment, you know, but based on what I seen in that interview, like I said, man, I see why they came and got him. You know what I mean? Everything he said they're going to use against him. But last night on her show, Tasha K's Live, make sure I bring this up to y'all. We're going to play a little bit of it. He called in before the show. So we're going to play some of this from her live. Like I said, I'll make sure to have the links to her interview, which is on her paywall. If y'all want to subscribe to go watch the full interview, that will be provided in the description. This link to her live show last night on her YouTube channel will be provided, as well as the articles from the local news media covering this story. Because again, he sat down with them months ago to tell his side, and it seems as if they hadn't, you know, fell back from doing their job. They actually kept on with the investigation. So listen, you know, for those who are here on behalf of Reggie getting his justice, we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. You know what I mean? We understand that it's, you know, what they say, three sides to a story, his version, their version, and the truth. So we're trying to do our best to not be, you know, biased in covering this and giving y'all the information so y'all can do the, you know, the homework on your own accord. And you do the math. It's not like we swaying y'all or pushing the narrative to try to ruin one's career. No, we are only here on behalf of Reggie getting his just due because, again, he's not here to speak up on his behalf.
Correct.
And then putting a lot of things to his name and his career and his legacy. And he has children. You know, Mother's Day just passed. For those who may not know, his birthday just passed. So for those who knew him, this is affecting all of us. While others is moving on with their life. And, you know, cool, fine. But some of us, like myself, Forgotten Kings TV, MREC, yo, this shit hurts. It's like, my nigga.
Word.
We you know, we wanted what's best for Reggie. And we were under the assumption that he was gone. Like, you know, he was out of it. He was good. Like when a player make it to the league, we thinking like, okay, you back on tour with Katt Williams, Monique, you out of here. The work paid off. Like we was working out and everything. You know, this notion that homie paints of Reggie just being this homeless person and you know, Katt just bringing him in. It's like, it's not totally accurate. You know, Katt used Reggie for his many talents, whether it was his comedic genius with the material, whether it was him helping driving the trucks, upkeeping after the animals on property. It was a lot of hats that Reggie wore,
Facts.
So it's important that we tell the story the right way and not paint a narrative like he was just this wild firecracker. And in the end, this is a business. It's about making money. And anyone who's a liability, they got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So this notion of like, he was just bugging out so much so that, we're just going to push him on to Trinell and, you're not being honest and telling the story like it is. So, but let's get into this clip. Y'all make sure to like this video, share this video, hype this video, because, that's the new thing now. You got to hype these videos. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm done with the yap, and let's play this snippet from her show last night, and then we'll follow up after that. Let's get to it.
Now, on to Katt Williams, Bodyguard. All right. So Katt Williams' Bodyguard was charged last year for unaliving another comedian, friend of Katt Williams. He was on tour with Katt Williams. They've all known each other. Trinell Williams, who goes by Too Tall, has been Katt Williams' bodyguard, according to him, for 12 years. He has lived with Katt, slept on the floor in Katt's house. Okay. He came from another big time celebrity, and Katt took him over and, has been with him ever since, all the way up until the day that Reggie was shot in a property that was leased to Katt Williams. Okay. That is not allegedly, that is facts. Okay. Now, Trinell, the day before we are to air our interview, we just got word from the police that they are now, I guess they've gone before a grand jury, and, he's going to court. He's going to trial for first degree, unaliving Reggie Carroll. Okay. Now, I'm going to reserve my opinions probably for Monday on what I think. Or did I say it in the interview? I said it. Okay, well, my opinions are in this actual pre-interview before we lead up to the 2-hour interview, which unveils a lot. And what I love is just him walking us down memory lane of what it was like with Katt Williams around all these other celebrities, who he worked for. I was asking all the questions. I was like, such and such, they've been sleeping together, they gay? After he told me about the unaliving, I was like, all right, all that. Let's get to this, okay? I did advise him from doing this. I did. I said, listen, what does your lawyer think? What is this? He said, Tasha, the same thing I'm telling you. I have told them the night that it happened that I did it, and here's why. My story has not changed, okay? So listen, I'm not going to bore y'all anymore with specifics or whatnot, but I do want you to go into this with an open mind. This is a man that just wants his story told. He wants the truth out, and he wants to just hurry up and get on with his life. So this is a pre-interview that you're going to hear regarding why he's suing Katt for $5 million. Okay. And then once we're off and we're done, I'm going to come back after this pre-interview with this phone call. Then we're going to head over to TashaKLive.com to watch his full story in its totality. It's 2 hours long, and trust me, it's worth every penny. Okay. So you do have to subscribe to TashaKLive.com to see that interview. Okay. But gauge this. Let this be your, whether or not you want to watch it or not. Okay. Without further ado, I give you Katt Williams, bodyguard of 12 years, Trinell Williams. Let's go. All right, Trinell Williams, you are Katt Williams, and I gotta say now, former bodyguard, because you are suing him now. So I take it
right,
as if.
But at the same time, while we say former bodyguard, I literally just text Kevin saying, like, one of his assistants that's still working with him right next to him, the one who's been sending me money since I've been out. They've been paying me this whole time, all the way up until about a month or two ago, after I cussed them both out and told them, this is y'all fault. I was begging y'all to intervene with Reggie. I'm like, Kev, you doing pills with him? And Katt, I showed you the video of him stealing my camera. Kev, like, I made him give your camera back. I said, okay, how come Katt didn't make him give my camera back?
Okay.
Bingo. So it's ironic to me that he gets this lawsuit. 9 months go by.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's
nothing but positive things.
Okay, hold on, because I want to make sure people can follow the story chronologically. So tonight, we are set to basically tell your side of the story. So it's coming out tonight on what happened between you and Reggie. You gave very clear details. You didn't stutter during your interview. Since we've released the interview,
if I took a pause, it was because of you saying, "Oh, well, was it murder?" These days, y'all using terms like unaliving, shot. So it's a lot of different terminologies, and I'm pausing like, I don't care what y'all want to call it. And then, like you can call it whatever you called it. I told the police I did it, and I called them immediately, and I tried to avoid whatever I did. And then it's like, you say, well, he was pointing a gun at you, and he didn't pull the trigger. To an onlooker or to the outside looking in, they'll think that takes credibility away from my story. Oh, he wasn't pointing a gun at you when you grabbed the shotgun because he didn't pull the trigger. So I sent you multiple still shots of him pulling guns, and he didn't fire none of them times, correct?
all of them are in the interview that's going out tonight on TashaKLive.com.
Right.
Okay?
But as far as your knowledge is concerned, them 2 still shots I sent you, one of them he holding 2 guns in one hand, which we've never seen even from the likes of Steven Seagal, and another still shot he's holding the same gun was recovered from the house the day of the shooting. And as far as your knowledge is concerned, he didn't fire the gun none of those times, correct?
Correct. From what I can see.
Bingo. So
From what I can see.
That totally just annihilates your whole theory of, oh, he was pointing a gun at you and he didn't fire. So then I'm pausing trying to say, well, how do y'all want to which terminology you want to use? Unalived or killed or murdered? That's all irrelevant. What is relevant is that I ran from him 10 times. That's what's relevant.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I don't want to get too much into the interview because people are going to hear your story, and I don't want anything adding to, that the prosecutors can use in this indictment against you. I don't think they have, because you have been formally charged with first-degree murder since we've released the trailer. I don't think that they have a first-degree murder charge.
I was already formally charged with first-degree murder before you released the trailer. They barely did the indictment literally yesterday.
So the indictment just came down yesterday?
Yes, I've been formally charged since the day of it happening because I called them and admitted to this, so it was already formally charged. When the indictment comes, they're supposed to figure out like the specific charge, whether it's second degree or manslaughter, because they're trying to say this is first degree murder. If I premeditated and planned this, the house I was living at for 4.5 years working for Katt, the house that my name was on the lease, but Reggie was not on the lease, and I premeditated this, but I ran away from him 5 to 10 previous times on camera, so many times that I lose track. So if I keep saying different numbers, does that mean I'm not credible, or he did it so many times I lost count?
No. And I want you to save your defense for when you have to fight your case. I want to talk about the...
my defense is already... This is my defense right here. Magically, there's an indictment after he got this lawsuit, after the Tasha K interview. I didn't say nothing on Tasha K that I didn't tell the police that was recorded in the interrogation room.
Very true. Why are you suing Katt? I just saw a demand letter for compensation.
Okay.
It was sent May 4th. Hold on. Wait. It was sent May 4th, 2026 to Michael Sierra Williams, aka comedian Katt Williams, and Onyx Owl LLC. That's the name of the company who rented the house where you and Reggie lived. You were on the lease, Reggie was not, and you are suing him, it looks like, for back pay, future pay, emotional distress, attorney fees and costs, punitive damages, and interest. Tell me about this this demand letter that you sent down May 4, 2026 to Katt Williams, your former employer.
It's more immediate and more relevant, the first sheet of the letter for compensation, because it says hostile work environment. That's Reggie doing drugs in front of me, pulling guns on me reporting that, and they didn't do nothing. Physical violence. That's an employee hired by Katt Williams named Casey Anthony, grabbing me by my collar, causing a choking motion on the tour bus, while him and Reggie and Red Grant and all these people were falsely accusing me of leaking Katt's address. Later on, they found out that the address was leaked from a female, and they didn't have no response or nothing to say to me. They didn't say sorry for accusing you. They didn't greet her with the same energy, thank God. But that turned into physical violence because I was grabbed by my collar and temporarily choked by one of his employees. Okay, it says sexual harassment. because in the video that you see, Reggie is calling me a bitch and he's calling me a whore, which is kind of rare when two men calling another man a whore. And Reggie was living with Lee Daniels, the openly gay male. So I took it all as unwanted sexual advancements. And I was constantly reporting to Katt's manager that Reggie was nonstop making references, sexual references, lightweight passes. I believe he is gay. And I believe the drug he was doing, Molly, will make any person gay. That's what I believe. There's a chemical inside the Molly that affects your hormones, it affects your testosterone levels, and it makes you gay by doing Molly. It also says negligent hiring on this complaint. It says negligent supervision and negligent retention of employees. This sounds like Katt got more than just the Reggie issue, because Katt is listed here personally. It says on November 22nd, 2023, Katt Williams forced Traynell Williams to drive a vehicle with expired registration that resulted in Traynell Williams being arrested and going to jail on Thanksgiving night with my girlfriend. So I told Katt, I don't want to drive my personal van because the tags are bad. It's illegal. Let me drive one of your cars with legal, valid registration so I could be law-abiding to go do work-related duties. He wanted me to drive to Atlanta and pick up a uniform for him to wear at the FedEx Forum to perform. So I went to Atlanta with my girl, picked up the uniform. When we got back to Mississippi, we were pulled over for the expired tags, and I spent Thanksgiving night in jail. We literally ate turkey with the dressing and stuff.
Okay. All right. So you're basically you're only suing Katt and his company for a hostile work environment, not in relation to anything that happened with Reggie.
It's a long list of stuff. It's a long list of stuff on here. Like, for example, it says multiple incidents on tour involving Schedule 1 drugs, harassment, and hostile work environment. But that one example I just gave you from November 22nd, 2023, Reggie wasn't staying with us then. Reggie wasn't staying at the house with me, and he was not at the mansion with Katt. So that lets you know I'm bringing up complaints that go back before Reggie ever came. So that's why Katt, if he does come testify in this trial, what is he going to do? Switch his story up? Because initially he showed nothing but love and support for me. When I got out of jail, he told me, I love you. You're not fired. I just want you to lay low during this investigation. So fast forward, after I cussed them out and said, this is all y'all fault, I was begging for intervention, and then they stopped sending money, and then I sent a lawsuit, and then literally a few days later, not even a week later, I'm indicted. After he physically sees the lawsuit, 3 days later, I'm indicted, because how is he going to argue this? If it's negligent hiring, negligent supervision, that don't look like a toxic workplace environment to you on the videos you saw?
I mean, it's a video.
That's a question for you, Tasha.
No, I know. It's hard for me to say because I'm not there.
You know that the house was leased out to an LLC.
The house correct, was, Tasha? Yes, it was. It was leased out to the LLC Onyx, which is...
And the LLC is owned by Katt Williams, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay. And watch this. They can't argue that I worked for Katt 24 hours on call, 7 days a week for 5 years straight, because didn't I personally send you a text message that came from Katt's cell phone to mine at 3:30 in the morning with him requesting me to go to the mansion at 3:30 in the morning for a security-related incident? Did I send you a screenshot of that text message?
I did see that text message, yes.
Okay, and the police have also confirmed that, because that was a screenshot from my Apple Watch, but the Apple Watch is synced to the iPhone that they still have with all the records preserved on it. So we can see that it came from Katt Williams at 3:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. We wasn't doing a show, we wasn't out of town, and he's telling me to leave from the house where Reggie was pulling guns on me at, come right around the corner to the mansion for a security emergency at 3:30 in the morning. That sounds like 24-hour security to me, ma'am.
Okay. So have you been contacted by the prosecutors in this case since then they've formally indicted you now?
No, I've been working with all private attorneys. I talked to the private attorney yesterday, and he pretty much told me, like, yeah, it looks like they indicted you, but I have not got confirmation on a court date, things of this nature. So then from there, I'm like, okay, I didn't want to be years and years going by just on an ankle monitor sitting here. I would rather this go to trial than to feel like I'm in purgatory or I'm sitting here. I'm not used to sitting in the house all day. I just went from working 24 hours on call, 7 days a week with no days off, so I'm just sitting in an apartment. No, I would rather take this to trial and move on with my life, because if I would have knew I would end up in this situation, I wouldn't have ran away from him 10 times. I swear to God. So go on and tell all your followers that. The same way I told the police, I'll gladly say it for the jury right now. If I would have knew I would end up in this situation like this, I wouldn't have ran from him 10 times. The reason why I ran 10 times and filmed him, I was risking my life. Every time he was pointing the gun, I was running away. He didn't fire.
Okay. Has your lawyer advised you to not speak with the press, such as people like me?
Yes, but I was trying to, but the initial lawyer told me that it was a good thing to speak to the press. So that's why I got it okay from my initial lawyer. And I felt like it could not hurt me at all to tell the honest to God truth. And especially if I'm repeating exactly what I said in the interrogation room. And most of what I'm saying, I'm not asking y'all to believe me. I'm telling you, believe the recorded videos and believe the text messages and believe people's track record. If Reggie had an outstanding warrant for his arrest at the time of this incident, completely unrelated to me. If Reggie got into it with Katt Williams and got kicked out of the mansion, completely unrelated to me. If Reggie had domestic battery charges that date back from 1996 against a lady named Shauna Riley, this is all public records from Maryland Judicial Case Search. Believe his track record. If Reggie has 15 kids that he all owe on child support, if Reggie has never worked an honest job a day in his life, I'm telling you to take all that into consideration. Every comedian is not successful like Katt. Most comedians are actually struggling, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, have you heard from Katt? You haven't spoken to Katt?
No, the last time I did, I told you what was told to me. I was told, you're not fired. I love you. Just stay low for this investigation. At one point, I'm like, well, I'm going to go over here to the property, and just do what I normally do. Sit at the property while y'all leave out and go to shows and stuff like this. Kevin tells me, no, he don't want you to go sit at the property because TMZ might take a snapshot of you. And the internet is saying that Katt is responsible for this and he paid you to do this. The whole time, adamantly, I've been telling the police, Katt is not responsible for this. No one paid me to do anything. I acted on my own out of self-defense, and I ran from this guy multiple times on camera. Okay. Even the detective told me, man, you're a better guy than I am. Most people who see and hear me saying, yeah, I ran from him multiple times, they literally say, I'm not running 10 times. In the state of Mississippi, there is no duty to retreat. So every time I ran from this guy and he had a gun on him, I didn't have to run. I had a gun on me, but mine was concealed inside of a fanny pack where I have a CCW and all of my guns are registered to me, unlike Reggie, who's a prohibited possessor. Do you know how it's so amazing how nice all you guys are to him, and him being a prohibited possessor or him being on drugs? You know, Daphne Springs, she had a relationship with him. Why you wouldn't reach out to her? I think it's a conspiracy, like to make me look bad and to make Reggie look good, because he's already dead. Y'all can't do no more damage to him. So y'all see that I'm successful. I got my CCW, and I feel that energy from all of y'all, from the media, from you, from everybody, from Katt, everybody. Well, this is what y'all don't know about Katt. He got 19 felonies. So even though he got millions of dollars, I got something he's still jealous of. Other than me being 6'8", he's jealous of my exposed firearm permit, me having my gun right. So was Reggie. When Katt first saw my exposed firearm permit in California, he said, oh my God, how did you get this? You can't even buy these. He was extremely impressed because he know $1 million can't get you no exposed firearm permit in California, but a cone record can.
Okay. Trinell, I'm on nobody's side.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't be on anybody's side. I just, my platform serves for people like you who deserve their voices and their stories told. But in the midst of having a platform this big, I have to be careful at whose side I take, because if it's the wrong side, I could be held liable. So it's not that I don't believe you. That makes sense.
But I'm on the side of justice. I want you to be on the side of justice. I don't want no favoritism for me. I want you to judge it indiscriminately, and that's what I believe y'all not doing. I believe that everyone is approaching this with like a pacifying approach towards Reggie Carroll, saying, "Oh, it's okay, he got them guns. Oh, it's okay, he robbed you at gunpoint." I was shocked when I told Katt he robbed me for my camera at gunpoint, and Katt wasn't tripping. Katt didn't even tell him, "Get my camera back." Oh, because I was secretly recording people pop pills with the camera. Because I was secretly recording Reggie put guns on me.
Okay.
Even overtly. Oh,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
So when Reggie destroyed a bunch of my footage, Katt was encouraging that.
Okay. So here's the thing. We're gonna go ahead and
allegedly.
Okay. Allegedly. Katt has denied.
Yeah, when I said Katt was encouraging him to take my camera, that's alleged.
Okay. Katt's team has any involvement in this. We have assured him that you haven't implicated him in anything. You did speak about him, and you spoke very highly about him and told some really.
And I also showed you screenshots showing that they've been paying me on Cash App the whole time I've been out, correct?
Right. And so I just want everybody and you to know that, like, you know, the interview that we did was in great detail. And you know, we're going to be following your case up until you go to trial and up until the verdict. I don't think they have a very strong first-degree charge on you at all, just by the way everything is presented. But I don't know what the prosecutors have at the end of the day. And so I would advise you, after you're done with this interview, that you don't talk no more and let justice be served. I would wholeheartedly advise.
Yes, ma'am. The only pending interview will be me showing up with my civil attorney for him to kind of answer some questions about the civil lawsuit. And we do think that it's ironic timing that the indictment came literally days after Katt was served with the civil lawsuit. Because it says
how much
May
are
4th,
you suing him
but
for?
he literally got it maybe.
How much are you suing Katt Williams
Oh,
for?
this says I sent you all 3 pages, but it says $5 million is the demand for compensation, and it has a deadline of May 29th, 2026.
Okay.
You know, that's this month.
Okay. All right. So listen, let me know.
Then it would make sense that after he saw that.
Like I said, you did tell some really good. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want people to be able to watch the entire 2-hour interview that we did in its totality, so they can get the full picture and it's not bits and pieces. And then they'll probably understand why you feel justified in filing a civil lawsuit. Okay.
Right.
So
right. But watch this though. Reggie ran off with an undisclosed amount of money that belonged to Katt, and this was confirmed on an MREC interview by a former bodyguard who worked with me, Reggie, and Katt, named Scrams, who I can confirm is a legitimate bodyguard. Reggie ran off with the undisclosed amount of money, responsible for Katt's Bentley coming up missing, where he left the keys in the ignition and it was a drop top. He left it running. He went somewhere and came out and it was gone. So Reggie was not living with us. He was homeless prior to moving with Katt. And when he was homeless, he was uploading negative videos about Katt Williams to his Instagram page. And he was uploading videos of Corey Holcomb accusing Katt of being a joke thief. But Reggie would upload that and co-sign it by cropping his picture onto the screen. And that's still on his comedian Reggie Carroll Instagram page. He has multiple posts speaking negatively about Katt before he moved with Katt. I think that's extremely relevant, considering the fact when he did get around here, Katt kicked him out of the mansions. Katt was bringing up to him and mocking him and ridiculing him for getting that Bentley stolen 10 years ago.
All I'm saying, Trinell, is you've already explained this to some degree, and just let people see the full 2-hour interview, and it's in order. It has a full timeline describing you, who you are, your celebrity relationship.
King, you still there, King?
Yeah, I'm here, King.
You caught that? You caught all that?
Yeah, I caught it all.
Listen, y'all, for those who are still here with us, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I know popcorn getting a little empty in the bowl. You tuned in because this is crazy, y'all.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? Of course, this isn't a joking manner. Just those who know us is how I am. But seriously, you're listening to all of this information being revealed by the person who's claiming self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, right, what were your thoughts when he brought up MREC TV in the interview with Scram? I mean, how did that make you feel when you heard your name and your platform reference, man?
Threw me for a loop. I'm like, why you, put me in the mix? You know what I'm saying? Like, you in that situation with Reggie, you should be, worried about that more so than, the interview I did with Scrams. You should be worried about your case, man. You know what I'm saying? Because all Scrams was doing was telling his truth when he was there, and just saying, yo, homie is a good dude, and him and Reggie is cool. You know what I'm saying? So that's all Scrams was saying, But yeah, it threw me for a loop for the most part, King.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is my opinion, y'all. I'm gonna be real. I feel like homie listened to some of the videos that were done in reaction to Reggie's murder, and his way of thinking how self-defense plays out. He's like so confused and ignorant to the law that goes into it, because the way he describing it, in his mind, he feels like, yo, I was justified. You got camera recordings that were leaked on purpose to media outlets. We were covering this thing from day one.
Correct.
And homie came up with this plan that he thought would look good and convincing, not just to us, the public, but a part of me feels like he's trying to plead himself to Katt.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems as if he felt some type of way. And again, this is me speculating. I'll be the first to say that. But I feel like Reggie and his relationship with Katt made Trinell feel some type of way. And when this ongoing dispute was going on, he felt like, going off of what he said, Katt wasn't disciplining Reggie, in the way he was hoping for. Not fast enough, not quick enough. And just, even him talking about the incident of Reggie stealing from Katt, and the interview that he's referencing with Scrams, it
don't have no relevance to this murder.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you bringing it up, as if to paint a narrative of Reggie.
Correct.
Like he was. That's why I said it's not like he's proving his case to the fucking jury. It's like he's trying to prove it to Katt. Like, yo, you treating me like this, the man who been here holding you down since 2012. Like, yo, you heard Reggie. He said they said it on the interview. Like that dynamic is, to me, what created this chip on his shoulder that ended up playing out the way that it did. Clearly there was some jealousy there amongst, his relationship with Katt versus Reggie relationship with Katt. You know what I mean? And I look at the situation, and, the more he talks, the more he hurts himself.
Correct.
Because self-defense is someone had to drop on you, and you had to do what you had to do. What he described was several incidences where there were disputes, where he claims that Reggie had guns drawn on him, yet you went back, and, it didn't end in gunplay. Even though, according to his account, on several occasions they had disputes, confrontations. So now on the 11th confrontation, now you decide, you know what? Since Katt don't believe me, since y'all don't want to take me serious, homie, keep playing, I'll show you. And that is what makes it premeditated, sir.
Yes.
Okay? You might not think that, but niggas got their own way of the law. Now, again, I'm no lawyer, I'm no attorney. I'm just letting y'all know as a disclaimer. So you can't use this, as legal advice from me. No. This is me and how I feel based on the information that was given. You know what I mean? It's just from that day, it didn't sound right. And a lot of y'all in the comments, I don't know if this is a botting situation, because even on Tasha's live, you read the comments, people like, why y'all keep bringing up Katt? I'm going to need y'all to wipe your face. I'm going to need y'all to take that towel and wipe your face, man.
But I also did see, not to cut your wisdom, King, I did also see people saying, why you so aggressive, talking to him while he was on the phone with Tasha, calm down. I'm seeing people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in the comments.
Showing that he too could be a live
Yeah.
wire.
Why you so aggressive?
Yes,
I seen that
you
too.
all aggressive.
Yeah.
The same way you trying to paint Reggie, it's obvious both of y'all had this type of demeanor. You know what I mean? Living under the same roof. Again, we're not there. We're not privy as to what was going on. But the point is, the reason why Katt's name gets mentioned, because again, early on, we didn't know. Remember, y'all, when the reports came out, and even before we get to that, let's get to the Scram interview right quick to clear it up, because I know where y'all going with it. Y'all going to say, well, damn, Reggie stole from Katt. How could he? Well, listen, it was said that people weren't getting compensated after doing work, ongoing work for months. So you ask yourself, being put in a position where you see somebody living like a rock star in front of you every day, but when you go to them to get your money, they curve you.
Facts.
So it's at least we put that out there for those to at least try to get both sides of the perspective. Why you trying to paint the man as unloyal, ungrateful? Why did you bring Reggie back in the fold? He was homeless. You know what I mean? You trying to paint this man crazy, and he can't defend himself. This is why me and Rec is here, because we speaking up for those who really had love and respect for this man. Nobody said Reggie was perfect. Hell, none of us are.
Facts.
I got my days where I'm pissed off like an old grumpy man. What the hell? But the point is, all of that is irrelevant to what happened the night of the murder. So let's not get distracted from all of this, hoopla, all of this yapping he's doing, trying to paint these narratives. The end of the day is simple. Was your life, threatened? Where you had to be forced to use, a shotgun multiple times, y'all. Multiple times. And we know one shot from a shotty is good enough. But multiple times sounds a bit like overkill.
True
and
indeed.
Considering the report that we read initially, when they came to the scene of the crime, Reggie was on the ground already hit. So homie had already been there for several minutes prior to them pulling up to the scene. According to him, he called 911. Hey, it's still unclear. This is another thing. Y'all got to watch this interview. I'll make sure I leave the link in the description. But there's a moment, according to Trinell, where he's being interrogated. And he says the officer asks him, because I guess you have to have proper certifications and things of that nature. So I guess he was supposed to be, authorized to give CPR, right? He has his license. You know what I mean? So in a situation like this, by you being a licensed firearm owner, you know what I mean? You have to follow a proper protocol when you hit someone. You know what I mean? You got to make the call. You got to let them know. So during the investigation, the interrogation, one of the officers asked him, did he directly perform CPR on Reggie, after calling 911? And he would not answer that. And that's important to know because, again, there's certain protocols you have to follow, even as security.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yes, you hit someone, but even when you see police hit someone, what do? They perform CPR.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was important for them to get an answer from him, direct and straight, and he would not do it. So again, for those who want to see this interview, it is over 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes to be exact. I stayed up until about 1:30 last night to make sure we got all our information for this live to give y'all this update, because again, it's been a couple of months. I'm not sure how the algorithm is gonna, react to this when we upload it. You know what I mean? They might be funny acting. You might get a couple thousand views, or we might run it up. I don't know. We really not here for that. We here to give y'all an update to get Reggie justice, because we in the time now where they will do you dirty, yo. You will put in so much work for these individuals. And I'm not saying one person in particular, but in this industry, you have individuals who, they worship to be a part of this. And they don't understand that you could end up just like Reggie, man, where they don't respect you in life and they don't respect you in death. As men, we move accordingly. I'm not going to give y'all an update on every damn thing with the Reggie. But considering we made history with him, Scrun Show, and several other, the other comedians that were part of this project, we made history. We had a lot of plans with Reggie on the follow-up, Knockout Kings of Comedy 2.
Facts.
He was going to be the headliner. He had a lot of plans. So when he got the call to go work with Katt on the road, because Katt had noticed all of the work that Reggie was putting in, he seen the progress. Now, this is what Trinell may not know, but from my side, by me with Reggie, because we was with each other for about 3 to 4 months, he was staying at my crib. I was managing him. I would give him the heads up and say, yo, such and such is at the Comedy Factory. So when Red Grant came to town, I gave Reggie the heads up. Yo, Red Grant, your boy in town. He said, what? I said, yo, you better go to the show. So he went, and that's how I would do, because I'm not a comedian. I don't know how I go, but, you know, that's their own underground, you know, I mean, their own world. But Reggie would go to the shows, you know, to try to get some stage time. But because he had history with Red Grant, it was a perfect opportunity to go up there, ask for some stage time. Not only did he get stage time from Red Grant, he let him rock out for the rest of the weekend. So when Reggie came back and delivered the good news, yo, Red put a good word in the Katt and let him know, I think he ready, yo. We have been working out in the gym. He was eating healthy. You know, that's why I said it's a little personal for me, because I was really with this man, and you know, I you know, humbled myself, which is weird because I'm younger than him. He's in his 50s. I'm in my 30s, but we had a conversation, and it was, Reggie, let's get serious. Let's lock in for this project so we can really reintroduce the world to who Reggie Carroll really is, because as you've seen, some people don't know who he is. But he's put in a lot of work for some of your favorite comedians. He's done a lot of work for some of your favorite shows. He's touched stages that some of these newer comedians have never touched. Came out during a time where, you know, comedians was getting paid. It's different these days. So to see him have to come back home, you know what I mean, and essentially start over in the city of Baltimore, where it's different now. You got different comedians, right? It's a different era. So he had to essentially restart and humble himself and work his way back to Katt Williams in the good graces. And he did that just to end up like this. That's why it bothers us. And this is why we cover it, because in the end, that man was loved. That was someone's father, someone's son, someone's brother. Nobody's saying he was perfect. We all got our shit with us. But that man did not deserve to be treated the way he was treated.
Not at all.
And as us in this media space, we understand people, you know, they want to cover shit for the sake of whatever. But this right here, we wasn't going to just let this rock and not give y'all the information now. Like I said, this is, you know, the latest update. I think we're going to wrap it up right here. I don't want to, you know, Rec got some things to do. I got some stuff I got to do today. But I want y'all to really, you know what I mean, take some time to digest all of this. I will leave the link for the full interview with Trinell on TashaKLive.com. If y'all want to check it out, y'all check it out. But I just wanted to give y'all some, you know, some updated information on what's been going on, because he's been indicted and he's suing Katt. So again, for those who keep saying, why y'all bringing Katt name in this? Why y'all keep bringing Katt in this? I don't know who paying y'all. I don't know if it's bots, but we're using words directly from the people involved that work for Katt. Now they're suing Katt. So all this, stop bringing Katt name up. Yo, like I said, I don't know if it's bots. I don't know if y'all getting paid, because I get it. He has a brand. They don't need negativity attached to it. However, what we not going to do is act like Reggie ain't put in his work. What we not going to do is act like Reggie didn't exist because you worrying about your brand. Ain't even been a year yet. This man has disgraced Reggie's legacy from the grave. And it's been going on for months, and I've been sitting back myself since they ripped from Forgotten Kings TV 2.0. I've been sitting back watching, seeing who would speak up on Reggie's behalf, and no one said a word. And those who have, shout out to y'all. I'm not going to reveal, but you know, shout out to those who really have been paying attention, because y'all been hitting me in Recca.
Salute to them.
You know what I mean? But I've been watching. I've been seeing this man put out a diss record, y'all. Who does that? Call this man everything under the sun, and he's upset with Tasha and us because he says we're treating him like a victim. No, stupid, he's a victim because you took his life. Stupid. And we supposed to take your word for it? It's your word versus the man who can't speak for himself? And he got people that he worked with on that tour that won't even speak up and say, yo, that's not my brother. He don't do that. Y'all ain't saying shit. From Monique to Red Grant. I can't speak about Tommy Davidson and Mark Curry. I know they vets in the game. You know, maybe they get treated, you know, as such. You know what I mean? But the point is y'all watching this shit play out in the media, social media, people speculating, leaking footage, all this shit, and make Reggie look a certain way. And I don't like that. If you're going to tell it like it is. We're not saying the man was a saint, but goddamn it, come on. You call this man everything under the sun.
Word.
That man got family too. They still grieving. It ain't even been a whole damn year. And you mad because you ain't out there on the road with Katt and them getting money now. This ain't got nothing to do with what you did. You're not remorseful for what happened to Reggie. Clearly, we heard that. And that's telling to me. That's very shocking considering your security. You know, I would assume that a person of that position, you know, takes pride in protecting those. You know what I mean? That village, that community. So the fact that you don't show any remorse for what happened is alarming. Because y'all had a relationship. Y'all was on tour. Y'all was getting money together, you know?
Facts.
Like, damn, I don't even see that on his face. Like, am I bugging Rick? Like, I don't see him like, damn, yo, look what he made. I didn't want to do this, y'all. Like, this ain't a movie. This ain't a joke. When someone's life has been taken, you know, that shit wrong you for the rest of your life. It haunts you.
Correct.
There's people in the military who've committed, you know, acts using drones and all of this, taking people's lives. And it's crazy, the depression and you know, the things that it goes through their mental. It's a new era now. They using drones and shit disguised like it's Call of Duty and video games, but they really taking people's lives. And based on the research, they've already seen people in the military, you know, be greatly affected by the actions they committed through the sake of protecting their country. You get what I mean? No matter how you mask it, it still haunts you spiritually. And I don't see that when I look at his face. He sounds like I'll do it again and all this and that. He seems upset that people are not responding in the way he hoped for, especially Katt. Seems like he's trying to plead his case to Katt. And, you know, that's where all this is crazy because you got to plead this to the jury, to the judge.
Yep.
So with that being said, you know, is there anything you want to inform the people before we get up out of here, King?
Rest in peace, Reggie Carroll. That's it.
Yeah.
Justice for Reggie.
Yes, sir.
Feel me? That's what I'm on.
Listen, before we go, just want to say this. You have to understand, you know, MREC been doing this for a long time. You know, I'm just a student that learned from REC. Years later, now I'm doing my part.
Salute.
But I say that to say that, you know, whatever moves us, you know, when we go to bed at night, you know, everyone has a different moral compass. I just know in the end, in my city, Baltimore, it's a lot of talent. You know, we try to give, we're known for that, giving opportunities. Sometimes it don't go the way we expect it, but we have good intentions. You know, disagreements, it happens. I say that to say that Reggie, you know, he wasn't just a comedian, man. And I couldn't just sit back with a clear conscience, knowing what we know, and not at least, you know, share the truth that we know during the time that we spent with Reggie. And that's what bothered me with all of this, that this could have been any one of y'all comedians, you know, from my city, your city, you know what I mean, who wanted that big break and finally got it. Katt, you know, a big name comedian, whomever, it gotta be Katt, but you finally get, you know what I mean, your prayers answered. You get the lifetime opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Opportunity of a lifetime. You get it, and you end up losing your life. Like, this could have happened to any one of y'all. So I need y'all to understand that this is where the passion comes from, and the reason why I'm being vocal about it, you know? Katt Williams, you know, I get it. We grew up watching his work. Stand up, but this is real life, y'all.
Yep.
And I pray, if this was me, I'm knock on the desk, MREC or whomever, that y'all would treat it with the same level of integrity
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that, yo, dead people can't speak. And the fact that it's been almost a year and this has been ongoing, and everyone on that side who worked with Reggie has been just kind of like turning their cheek. We just seen the roast, you know, out of sight, out of mind. So that being said, Reggie, we did not forget you. Happy birthday, King. Shout out to your family. And yeah, like I said, the truth will be revealed, man. With that being said, we out. This is the MREC and Rip Show. Stay tuned. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. We on your asses, man. We ain't letting up. We know what time it is. You know what I mean? So y'all tap into the MREC TV platform, the MREC Live. You know, tap into Forgotten Kings TV. You know, MREC and Rip Show. Like I said, like this video. Leave us with your thoughts. We getting ready to upload this. And yeah, y'all, we out.
Deuces.
Thank you for watching my video. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also, hit that notification bell to get the latest on hip-hop, sports, comedy, whatever. All right, we got you covered over here at Forgotten Kings TV. And also, click on one of these videos, okay? All right, y'all. Peace.